Oh, I'll take my glasses off. We don't need glasses. All it is a big glare,
It makes you look so
right?
smart.
But it's a big glare. And I'm looking like robot eyes. You know what I
I
mean?
know. That's why I don't have mine on, is because it's just two big bug eyes with the blue filter, to not glare on the screens and whatnot. So I used to get called bug eyes when I was little because I have really large eyes on. It was like really large eyes on this teeny tiny face. I was a really awkward child.
For me, it was my nose. For
Was
me,
it?
for me, my buddies were definitely picking on my schnoz. And as a teenager, I think I went through this one spurt where it grew, but nothing else did. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it was like, those awkward teenage years. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We all went through it. It's there nobody escaped the awkward trying to grow into your body features. I didn't grow into all of my features like in my face and everything until I was a grown up, like in my 20s. It was awkward, yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, I probably still haven't. But
Yeah.
anyway, well, all right, let's get this thing started. Anna, Alan, thank you very much for jumping on an
Thanks for
episode
having me.
of My Smart Podcast. And refined rebel interiors is what we're going to talk about, amongst some other things. I'm sure we'll ramble off into some other discussion. But and again, thank you so much for coming on. I guess my very first question is, what got you into interior design?
When I was in college, I tried all of the practical things. My dad wanted me to, be a successful woman. And he's like, try banking, try this, try that, try this, try that. And I did, and I failed all of my classes. I'm not interested in math or banking. I'm not interested in this or that. Um, I gave it my best college go, and I left. I got married. I started a family, and I finally decided, I've always been interested in architecture and arts and design work, and there are a lot of successful women that do this. Why don't I just trust my gut and give it a go? I went to school. I did really well in school. It was the first time I actually did well in school. The whole gamut of school, elementary, middle school, high school, college, and so I graduated. I started working in like showrooms and like little small firms. This was when we lived in Idaho, really small towns in Idaho that didn't really have a niche for it. And then we finally moved to Las Vegas, where I worked for a builder here. And then I worked for another company called Zoom Casa, where we would help people that were getting ready to sell their houses do what they needed to do to maximize the value of their home. And I discovered that I really loved helping people make their homes beautiful in doing that job. I got to know a lot of the contractors here in town. I built really great relationships with them. And I decided that I was tired of begging people to clean their houses and maybe paint and update their carpet. And I wanted to have fun with people and really make their houses their own, put their personality into it rather than take the DNA out of their house just to get it ready to sell. And when I was with the builder, we kind of were able to do that. With Refined Rebel, what I'm hoping to focus on is working with homeowners, and maybe helping out with a new program I'm calling Turnkey Transitions. And that's where I can go to builders, the homeowners that are working with builders. And, sometimes when you're working with builders, they have the semi-custom homes where you're going through the program and you can do this and this and this and choose from these selections, but you can't always do exactly what you want. And that's where I would come in, and we would, you get your keys, and then we go nuts. We do all of those updates that you want to do to make that house feel a little bit more custom. And we do your focal walls. We do those custom things that you couldn't do with your builder at the time before you move in, and just make it yours. So that's why I love what I do. We get to be creative and have fun and make it your dream home. So
So now, just to ask, before you got into any of this, what were some of your previous career fields? What were some of your previous jobs that kind of led into this?
Right when I got out of high school, I did go into banking, and that's kind of where my dad was like, you could, move up. So I was a teller for a very long time. Before I started design school after I got married, I was a teller again. I worked in banking for many, many years, and I realized it sucked the soul out of me. um, it's a good career. Don't knock it. But I did a lot in finance. What else did I do? I did a lot of like receptionist work. Um, yeah, I did a lot of that.
You mentioned, Anna, you're like, being a bank teller sucked the soul out of you. And then you come back and you're like, wait a minute, don't be offensive now to all you bank tellers out there. I get
Because
it.
they work really hard and they take a
it
lot of crap from people. I
well,
got yelled at a lot. But I was really just only doing my job. So be nice to the tellers and be nice to receptionists, because the receptionists run the show, people. Be
that's
nice.
funny. And you're so true. You're correct. One of the things to think about, I think, is in choosing our career paths, right? Is what kind of a relationship do you want to have with your client base? And it seems like going from being a bank teller to becoming interior designer, you just took the relationship that you're going to have with your client from 5 to 10 minutes up to hours.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting much, you're spending more time, you're getting to know people a lot more. So let me ask you this. How do you take the likes and wants of clients and match it with some of today's trends in interior design?
I do continuing education, so I'm staying up on today's trends, keeping in mind that today's trends don't match everyone's likes and wants and needs. You're going to be living in your house, so if you don't love the new likes and trends, it really won't matter if that's what's in. So we're going to tailor make whatever is your style and what fits the needs of your household and you specifically. If you have animals, if you have a special needs family member, we need to tailor make the house to conform to what is your need. Like design trends, people are moving away from grays and going back into beiges. I don't love beiges. But we
Right,
will.
and not to interrupt you here, but and then how do you hold back from your personal preferences,
You just do.
putting the gas too much on that? You know what I mean?
You just do. I mean, there's several different design styles out there. There's Tuscan, there's desert chic, there's traditional, there's colonial. Like there's just so many out there. You just need to know how to design for each specific style, especially depending on the house. Like if somebody buys a Spanish house, we don't want to put like a colonial style something in it. You know what I mean? Like you need to learn how to
Or
design for
super
each style.
modern?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
super modern contemporary.
I don't like I have my own style, but I don't want to have to like peg myself into just designing for one person. I want to be able to meet the needs of whoever comes knocking at my door. And honestly, like a few of my clients I've worked with ongoing for 3 years. So we develop a great relationship. They call me, my business is more of a design concierge. You call me when you need a plumber. I don't know who to call. I call Anna. She'll figure it out for me. And so I've developed more of a relationship. Like I'm the problem solver for you. It's kind
For
of works.
anything residential, for anything house, be
Yeah,
it repair or design or improvement, anything in between.
exactly.
Oh, very
Exactly.
cool. Okay,
So
like
I'm their problem
just that
solver.
resource.
Yes. So then, when they're ready to update the house because I'm tired of looking at this sofa, they'll remember, oh, I just call Anna for everything that I need. So, um, yeah. Yeah. So
I
we've
want to talk.
essentially just become family because I'm over at your house all the time. Well, I
Right.
can be over at your house all the time. You don't necessarily have to have
I
me
feel
there.
the same way. I feel the same way with exteriors, with pools or landscaping. You're on site a lot.
Mhm.
Um, you're not just at the project there. In my case, digging a fancy hole in someone's yard and decorating it with plaster and tile.
Exactly.
You're involved with the family's routine, with the kids, the dogs. In our case, fencing off the yard. So
Mhm.
I'm sure you deal with a
Keeping the
lot of
right
that
dogs
too.
in and the wrong dogs out, right?
Right, right. And if we could go back just a little bit historically over the past 6, 7 months, you and I met on a bit of a philanthropic endeavor with just talking about nonprofits and different efforts that people contribute to the community. You
Mhm.
dove in with design and into a group that gets into residential houses and does some work for kids and things like that. What this that was not your first rodeo with nonprofit and or community efforts. Talk a little bit about what got you started in that, or where your mindset, where your drive, because there's a drive that the audience doesn't know about. I know about it. You and I have known each other for a while. I'd like to talk about it and actually expose that, because you do have a very community connected part to you.
I just the world is sad right now. It just seems like everybody's out for number one, and I think it's just driven it's just self-preservation at this point. And I love your guys's room redux charity. It is, for those who don't know, we go in and we recreate a room for kids that have been abused. And in a different life, my husband and I lived in Idaho, and he was a parole officer, and uh, his last caseload was with sex offenders, and it was tough. Um, and thank you for all of those who serve in law enforcement. It is hard. It is hard on those officers. It is hard on the families. So all those spouses that are supporting those spouses, power to you. So I saw the struggle that my husband went through, having to supervise those people that did wrong. And after going to the event with Jeff and Marianne, it just lit something in me that now I can serve and help those kids that were victims, because I saw what it did to my husband, who was trying to do what he could to right a wrong in the community. And there was really nothing I could do to help him other than sit and watch. And now I felt like I had an opportunity to do my part and try and make our community a little better. And if each person in the community could do one small thing, maybe 5 minutes, like pick up a piece of trash on the sidewalk, or I don't know. I just think maybe it could start to transform. And I'm trying to do that for myself as my own journey. And then maybe by example, help maybe somebody else be like, oh, like maybe I could do something nice for our community. It's wishful thinking, but we all.
Hey, we may turn this podcast into a philosophical, utopian. How do we create this utopian society conversation? Real,
Maybe.
real tough to do. Real tough to do.
Yeah.
I will say this. That I do believe that there is a gap in in. I don't want to say our gap in our generations, because there's obviously a gap from one generation to the next. But I mean within each generation, kids are born, they goes through as toddlers and hit preschool, kindergarten, those first couple of first, second, third grade, and it seems like somewhere third, fourth grade, things get a little more mature and a little more into sports and entertainment, and I went grabbing for my smartphone, but we're giving 4-year-olds smartphones to raise themselves to a certain degree. And I think there's a gap in those ages. I don't know if it lasts until the late teens or the 20s, 30s, even 40s for some people, but there's that great big gap in between there that removes somehow what you just said about if everyone could just do a little bit. Well, it's forgotten in that gap of time, in my opinion. And maybe people watching the show here today are like, man, Jeff's crazy. God, the way that his brain works.
All the
Hang
best with
up.
fire.
But I think that an awful lot of people have these conversations. So where's the gap? What's missing? Why isn't everyone thinking
Action.
like this just a little bit each day and taking a little bit of action each day? And I think that's because of the lack of reinforcement of those conversations. I think the distractions of entertainment, social media, government, politics, and other things that are ridiculously dividing an awful lot of people here in America. So
Yeah,
again, we better not get off on that tangent. We'll
I
turn
know.
this into a Dr. Phil episode. I'd love to have that guy on.
Oh
But
man.
but going back into your business for 2024, what's on the agenda? 30 days, 6 months, and 12 months for your company?
Um, I'm still just trucking along. I would love to meet with new potential clients slash friends. We spend so much time together that honestly, we end up going out for dinner at least once or something just to catch up on life. You know, uh, w- in the end, we'll end up spending a lot of time together. So I just potential new friends. So marketing in the first quarter, yeah, driving new business is what my goals are for this year. I'm really going to hit hard with my turnkey transitions, and yeah, that's goals.
Right on. This question I definitely like to ask all business owners, and that is two questions. Young entrepreneurs, young business owners, what do you see the biggest mistakes that young entrepreneurs make?
I have no idea what I'm doing as far as business goes. I can design your house all day long, but I have no idea what I'm doing as far as business
That's
goes.
fair.
In
No,
my
that's
business
fair.
class in college, this is what I took away from the entire semester. Do not start a business.
That's
So
great advice for an entrepreneurial channel, Anna. Don't start a business, everyone. All right, let's just shut down the podcast. Cut. Go to post production.
so that's what I learned. And so I'm going against everything I learned. So um, here we are.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
and
might
then
have taken advance here. No, I'm getting good advice from. I did take other business classes to counteract that one, but I'm going to for those that are in my same situation. I'm going to my local SBA, getting advice from them, talking a lot with people in the know, like Jeff. Thank you very much. And I also would like to say that support your local businesses. I try first and foremost to use small businesses from the area, and I want to hit those guys first and support local businesses just like myself. We're all struggling and we're all starting out. COVID hit a lot of people hard, and if we can all support each other as a community and just share the love. Like, I feel like, again, it goes back to the just trying to help each other out. Yeah, scratch each other's backs. We'll pull together.
that there was a second question I was going to ask that really parallels the first, and that is I'm gonna ask the question, but I'm also going to answer it in the same time, and that is again along those same lines as the previous question. What might you see entrepreneurs that are very experienced? What
Mhm.
kind of mistakes do you see the very experienced guys making? And I've asked this question 15 or 20 times. I have heard the best answer, I think, that wasn't even on my radar about a week ago. And that answer is entrepreneurs that have been in the business a long time, they're not passing that knowledge down. They're not passing the knowledge down to the next generation of industry and business and entrepreneurs. And there's a lot of technology that has taken place because it's new. It's relatively new. Like the technologies that we use in business, very, very new if you compare business in America over the past 220 years. Right.
Yeah.
And really, let's just take it from about 1900, 1910 forward. And with the Industrial Revolution and other technologies taking hold very rapidly through World War I and World War II, never before has technology and communication changed like it has over about the past 15 years. Right. But I still think that there are fundamental core entrepreneurial values that are not related to today's technology, habits, routines, self-care, everything that rolls in there. So yeah, I would think that as much as I could encourage business owners, entrepreneurs to share that information, and I think we as a nation, I truly do, will always be much more powerful. I think competition is good, but I also think really, really teaching our following generations, I think that's where it's key, whether it's talking about business, integrities, vulnerabilities, morals. Again, we're going to turn this into a Dr. Phil episode, but I think it's all important to not only give back, but to really nurture our youth.
I love that. Yep.
know? So, well, Anna, tell us a little bit about where everyone can find you.
So you can follow me on Instagram at Refined Rebel Interiors. You can go to my website, it's refinedrebelinteriors.com, or you can give me a call, 208-351-5994.
And is that an Idaho number?
It is.
That is an Idaho number. So many people in Las Vegas have so many different area codes. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? You might think, oh my gosh, I'm on a local area code number, locally. Technology has changed that too. It doesn't even matter.
I don't think
anymore,
I even can get a local number anymore. I think I have to get a 725. So I was like, I might as well stand out. I'll just keep my Idaho number. I don't even know if I could memorize the new number at this point.
Well, and as you did name your company, that does seem rather rebellious of you. So with that, let's close this episode out. Everybody, please reach out to Anna. We have worked together on multiple projects with Room Redux. I've gotten to know Anna very, very well, and super glad that she's a very good friend of mine. So Anna, have a great week here. Go kick butt in 2024. And I know we will get together on our next room transformation here in the next couple of weeks.
I love it. Okay, thanks, Jeff.
All right. You got it. I'll talk to you very soon.